And I would like to draw comparisons so that people understand a bit of both, even for international students who return to practice in Uganda. And I think that would be interesting because some of us come back here and we don't know at all what's happening. Like, we suffer through the system to make things make sense. So this video is for you. It's for people who are hoping to become architects, people who are still undergoing training, people who are still, going through school, parents who have kids that want to go through architecture school. Hi guys, welcome to Akirol Talk. This is our second episode, and today we're going to talk about who can call themselves architects. If you're here for the first time, please like, comment, share our content, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're here to bring you architectural content, strictly making architecture famous, or more known to the common people. In our previous episode, we talked about what architecture is and why everyday people should care, and we had a very interesting guest. If you haven't checked that out, please do. Today we're going to talk about who architects are, who can call themselves architects, and how they become architects, what the process is like in Uganda, and I'm going to draw comparison with the UK because I studied under a different education system, and then I'm here for my training. And I would like to draw comparisons so that people understand a bit of both, even for international students who return to practice in Uganda. And I think that would be interesting because some of us come back here and we don't know at all what's happening. Like, we suffer through the system to make things make sense. So this video is for you. It's for people who are hoping to become architects, people who are still undergoing training, people who are still, going through school, parents who have kids that want to go through architecture school. We're going to talk about the process of getting licensed, and then we're going to talk about the challenges that you should expect, the good parts, and a bit of everything. Today we're talking about something that confuses a lot of people. Who can call themselves architects? Now, because many people design buildings and work with, parts including design and, interior design and all of that, a lot of people believe that all of these people are called architects, but that's not the point. There is a certain level of, training and education and stages that you have to go through to qualify to be called an architect. And in most countries, including Uganda, the title architect is actually protected. It's legally protected. So today I want to break that down to, tell you about the education, the training, and then the exams and what it takes to be licensed. The most important thing that you have to remember, first of all, is that architecture is both a profession and a regulated title. You might work in design or construction, but you cannot legally use the title architect unless you are registered. And in Uganda, this is controlled by the Architects Registration Board under the Architects Registration Act. Same for the UK, this is controlled and regulated by the Architects Registration Board. And this process is divided into 3 phases: education, professional training, and then the examinations which lead you to licensing or registration. So I'll start with the Ugandan Path. For Uganda, standard procedure, you're going to get a bachelor's degree in architecture. And still, there is some sort of division, but then this is simple. We're going to look at the standard, the traditional form, which is the Makerere bachelor's degree, and it's also the same, I think, for Chambogo University. And then the International University of East Africa. Probably the others, but I'm not sure about them. So they have a 5-year degree. You study for 5 years. This applies even for people who have done diplomas or studied in a construction course and then upgraded. You're expected to have a bachelor's degree. And in this bachelor's degree, at the end of this bachelor's degree, you're expected to have learned about design, structures, construction, architectural history, and urban thinking. You should know a bit of theory about designing and planning and everything. And once you're done with this, you're not an architect. You are a graduate architect. There is a G to your architect. So once you're done with this step, then you're going to get your papers together. It's also a common challenge. Institutions take a bit of time to get documents ready, I believe. But I'm not sure if the board, the Architectural Society board, the Uganda Society of Architects, takes testimonials and stuff. So I think you might have to take time, wait for your documents to be together, get your certificates, get your transcripts, and then prepare to apply for membership as a graduate member of the Uganda Society of Architects. And I'm going to think of that taking about maybe 3 months for a local student, because you're automatic, you have your degree and standard procedure. And once you're done with that, you'll wait on the board for a decision. They can decide, they sit and then make a decision whether you qualify to be a member of their society. Once that's done, once they've given you the membership, well, you're 2 steps ahead. So you start your training, but now let's go back. There are students who go to universities like Ugandan Path University in Kozi, which has a different sort of, curriculum for education. They have a different course, which is 3 years. It's a bachelor's degree of 3 years. Now, this is similar to the UK system. And when I'm speaking about the UK system, I think I'll speak about what they do. When you graduate from Kozi after 3 years, you will be expected to study for 2 more years before you apply for that membership, I believe. So you have to do a master's degree of 2 years. Well, once you're done with the application for membership and then you've gotten your membership, then you can commence your training under supervision by a registered architect for 2 years. And these are going to be long 2 years. Just because you've worked under a practicing registered architect for 2 years without logging, then doesn't mean you've completed your training. You have to file, you have to write your logbooks, and you have to write your reports, and then you have to have them submitted every 6 months to the Uganda Society of Architects in physical copy, and then a digital copy via their email, I think. So you're going to do this for a period of 2 years, and you're going to do this every 6 months. So 6 months, which means 4 submissions in a span of 2 years. And once you're done with that, the board will sit and make a decision on whether you qualify to sit for the exams. So I will add to what I said previously. Doing your 2 years of training just because it's standard procedure, that doesn't mean you've met the criteria of what is expected of you during the training period. Because during the training period, you're expected to learn about the real site experiences, construction documentation, site supervision, client coordination, regulations and approvals. And so they're going to assess your logbooks against some of these things to ensure that you meet the standard criteria of the person. You're ready to do the board exams. You're not going to embarrass them probably. So if you're not ready, they will email you and tell you to continue your training maybe for another 6 months or a year, depending on the decision. And if you're ready, they'll email you, and then you can go ahead to the next step. Please remember, you're going to put in a bit of money at every step. You pay for the people who are making the decisions, the time they're going to take, the clearances and everything. Of course, they're working, so you have to pay them. And finally, the next step, once you're approved for examination, of course, you prepare for the exams. You're given about a month and a half or 2 to complete your training and to go through preparations for your exam. Once the preparation is ready, then you can sit the board exams and you're good to go. The exams are divided into written and orals, and first of all, you'll do the written exams, and once the exams are done, if you've passed the written, then you can go ahead to do the orals. That's how the system works. And during these exams, you will be assessed about your professionalism, about clients, users and delivery of services, about practice and management, about legal framework and processes, and finally building procurement. So this is the criteria that you're expected to meet in order to qualify for licensing. So you sit the exam and you pass the exams. We congratulate you. And once that's done, you move on to the next step. The board issues a letter for you, which you're supposed to present while applying for licensing with the Architects Registration Board. So they work hand in hand, but then you run the papers through, all the channels that you have to get the papers to. And once you've done that and everything is ready, then you wait for your licensing. I think that's where it all ends. Please understand, this journey seems challenging and there's so much that you have to do. It's a long process. Actually, in most cases, they say that it's just straight up 7 years. But given the challenge that we go through in Uganda, the board has to make a decision. There's another board that has to make a decision. You have to do a lot of printing and preparation and organization. So it takes a bit of time. I think the quickest someone can go through this process is roughly 8 years, not 7, in Uganda. And it's important that you get licensed. You've gone all the way, you've completed a 5-year degree. Why are you stopping here? I personally am undergoing the registration process. I'm still undergoing my training and I'm in the last month of my training. I look forward to the end of it so much. I've actually wanted it. It's something that felt very honorable while we were going through school, so it's not something that I want to take for granted. It's important to get licensed. It's important to know that your value and that your value has an actual qualification to it. No one is going to scare you out of your job. So please get licensed. Take time, allow yourself to lose that car money and get licensed. Get the papers done, go all the way. I haven't gotten to the end, but it must be really fulfilling to get to the end of it. So don't end here. Get licensed, get registered, do the training. You're going to face certain challenges, I'll talk about them, but do your training. And this step is important because architecture affects public safety, it affects cities, it affects people's lives. And you guys are of value, so don't limit your value, please. Be resourceful. Now for the UK pathway, this is standard. It's divided into 3 parts, which is part 1, part 2, part 3. Now for part 1, you get a bachelor's degree, which is 3 years. And then after the 3 years, you can do 1 year of training and then go back for a master's degree of 2 years. And then a training of another year, and then you go sit for the board exams. But you can also do 3 years and then do 2 years of masters and then do your internship collectively together for 2 full years after your master's degree. And then you can you can prepare to do your board exams. For the UK system, everything is online. You apply for your membership online, you file your logbooks online. So for the Ugandan system, you do your logging every 6 months. For the UK system, you do your logging every 3 months. You submit your 4 quarters in a full year, and you do this for 2 full years. And for the UK system, because you do it online, your 1 year is documented properly, and in case there's something missing, it's sort of updated in real time so that you keep track and sort of manage to fulfill your whatever is required of you within that 2-year training period. And yes, so the first year, like I said, it's a bachelor's degree of 3 years, and then you do your master's, which is more advanced, and you do a bit of design, you do a bit of research, and then you train for another year or for 2 years after your master's degree. And once you do the logging, you will have a mentor from your practice, and then you'll have a professional studies advisor. In most cases, these are provided by your university. So then there is a guy who approves your logbooks, your supervisor who, has seen what you've been doing. And then there's a guy who oversees and recommends that these are good and approved for the system of the Royal Institute of British Architects. So yes, so you go through both of them, and at the end of your training, you can sit for your board exams, and once you've passed your board exams, you go on for licensing. Remember, you complete your professional training, and then you do 2 years of logged work experience, and then you pass professional practice examination. The key similarities here is standard procedure. You have to get formal education, you have to go through the professional training of 2 years, and then you have to sit the examinations for the board, which then approves that you're ready and we can give you the award to practice and as a licensed architect. And then the differences are simple. The UK is divided into 3 parts, just part 1, part 2, part 3, which is bachelor's, master's, and your training. And then Uganda is your degree, licensing, your degree, your training, then your licensing. Yeah, so then, like I said, I've been explaining the UK way of doing things, and that's exactly what should be considered by students who go to Ugandan Path University, because you do part 1, part 2, part 3, and then you do your licensing. Remember how I told you that I'll tell you about the challenges that you should expect when trying to get registered here? You're going to get many paying supervisors, architects who think they're doing you a favor by training you. That happens a lot. I don't know, the experiences are different, but that's very common for people here. You're going to get into employment with firms that will likely pay your salary, but then give you nothing in addition to that. You don't get any benefits, you don't get any allowances. Your NSSF is not paid, your insurances are not paid. So you should expect some of these things. I believe employment is regulated, but then there's not so much, especially because our training is mandatory. You have to do it, and because you're dreaming of being an architect, you just wake up and say, you know what, I'll commit and do this. So this is something you should expect. It might not happen to you, but it does happen. And then for international students coming from a foreign country, you're going to face challenges of meeting, equating your documents with the National Council for Higher Education. Those guys take time, man. See, when you have a bachelor's degree and then you have a master's degree and you have to do one at a time, or maybe if they can do it collectively, they'll still take a bit of time, because they'll take approximately 4 months equating one degree, and then another 4 equating another, and you have to wait it out. So ensure that you're ready to wait out the time. This is why I think I'm not sure if I've talked about it before, but if it takes about 3 years for the local students to get licensed, it will likely take an international student about 4 years, because you will have to equate your documents with the National Council for Higher Education, and then you'll have to apply for membership with the Uganda Society of Architects. The board as well has to sit and make a decision on whether your credentials are, of substance in comparison with the curriculum here. So they also have to take a bit of time and sit. I think, but at the time I submitted, it took about 7 months for them to make a decision for me to become a graduate member of the Uganda Society of Architects. And then you're going to, of course, face the workload. This is natural in architectural practice. You're going to work through days that you shouldn't work, nights that you shouldn't work, because you have a goal, eyes on that goal. So yeah, these are some of the challenges that you're going to face, but you would have to work through them, or you should be able to communicate. You can speak to the Uganda Society of Architects about the challenges that you're facing. For some of them, they'll be useful, they'll help you, they'll definitely try their best to help you. Some are beyond their control, I believe. There are things that you have to work out with your supervisor. And try to see that, you complete your training regardless of the challenge that you might face. And finally, this is it. The next time you meet someone and they tell you they're an architect, At least, for a common man, you'll know who you're looking at. You will know, this guy has gone through a lot. They've taken years of education, training, and professional responsibility to get to where they are. It's a lot of discipline, it's a lot of patience, it's a lot of commitment to something, because you're chasing this something that is taking so long. But then you keep the discipline, you keep the hope, and hopefully you get to the end of it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for learning about who can call themselves architects. In the next episode, we'll be talking about yet another important topic about what architects actually do in real projects, starting from inception to the end of the project. So stay tuned, keep watching, subscribe, comment, share, and enjoy our videos.